All right, so now that we've reached the end of Module 2 and the end of the first section of this course, it's time to connect all the dots before we move forward. Now, in Module 1, we broke down the mechanics of the auction in real depth, and you learned what the market actually is, how orders function inside it, what roles aggressive and passive participants play, and why price moves when it does. So you learned the language there. You learned the language like absorption, exhaustion, rejection, fuels, walls, inventory, pressure, control. All of that language is very precise, it's very mechanical, and it describes what is actually happening inside the market at any given time. However, if you are not used to that language just yet, it can be very abstract. So in Module 2, we went inside the software, we walked through Bookmap and Market Monkey together. I showed you the tools, I showed you the indicators, and all of the settings for everything. I showed you what each tool is representing and what side of the market it belongs to. We went over the volume bubbles, the footprints, the delta, the CVD, the heat maps, the order book, everything we used, right? So here's where you're at right now. You have the language for Module 1 and you have the tools for Module 2. So you understand all of these individual pieces, but it still might be a little abstract for you. And that's okay. This is where we're going to start connecting the dots. Because if I asked you right now, when you see a liquidation bar on the screen, what Module 1 concept does that connect back to? Or when someone says the heat map is pulling, what does that tell you about passive intent? Or when CVD is trending really hard, but price is not moving at all, what auction behavior are you actually witnessing? So that's the gap. There's so much being thrown at you in these first two modules. We have new vocabulary words, different types of behavior. You have two new software that you're trying to learn. So it can get really overwhelming. And understanding the individual parts is very different from having a system that connects them instantly. So, I've built a handful of cheat sheets that's going to connect all of this together very easily and very cleanly. So, these cheat sheets are going to act as your decoder or a translator for you. So, everything in this course, every concept, every tool, behavior passes through this same chain. And that chain starts with the auction roles. And then that will lead into understanding the order type, which then leads to what is the measurable data. And after that, finally, it leads to how it's represented visually in the software. So the auction role tells you who is acting, like urgency or control. And the order type tells you how, like through market orders or through limit orders. And then the measurable data tells you what is being recorded. Is it executed volume or are we looking at resting liquidity? And then after that, finally, the platform visual tells you how it appears on your screen. So when you can run through that chain automatically in both directions, from the visuals back to the roll and from the roll forward to the visuals, nothing on your chart feels disconnected anymore. It becomes structured, it becomes readable. So these cheat sheets are built around that chain. Every sheet, every row, every tool maps back to this. So these are not summaries of what you already watched and what you already learned. They're the connective tissue between language you learned in Module 1 and the visuals you saw in Module 2. Now, there are 6 cheat sheets in total, and each one has a specific job. First, the market states cheat sheet establishes the environment before you read anything else. Next, you'll see the market participants cheat sheet keeps the roles clear and what aggression does, what passivity does, and why the distinction between them is non negotiable. After that, you'll see cheat sheets for the aggressive tools and the passive tools, and they map every indicator to its auction role, to its observable behavior, and critically, what it is not. And then after that, you'll see the structural and context sheet, and that covers the tools that show you where historical business occurred. Now, the one I want to draw your attention to the most is the keyword quick index. And every piece of language from Module 1, like aggression, passivity, effort, intent, pressure, control, fuels, walls, absorption, exhaustion, pulling, reloading, all of the vocabulary words. Every single one of those terms traces directly to a tool category and a visual on your screen. So this index is the explicit bridge between the language of Module 1 and the visuals of Module 2. And that connection has been very implicit up until now. And there's a reason for that. But this index makes it very clean, clear, and direct. So when you hear the word, you know exactly where to look. So how do you get access to the cheat sheets? The cheat sheets are going to be available in the Discord community. And right now, the Discord community is completely free to join. These cheat sheets are completely free. Just follow the link in the description below and you'll find them in the Discord. So you do not need to memorize these cheat sheets. In fact, you need to walk through these until you can look at any visual on your screen and trace it back to its mechanical origin without hesitation. That is the standard. That's what is required to deeply understand, start reading market behavior quickly and precisely in real time and under pressure. So before you move into module 3, open your chart, pick a few visible elements, and for each one, run through this chain. Identify the auction roll, identify the order type, define what data is being measured, and state what the tool is not telling you. Because if that process feels smooth, you're ready to go to the next module. But if you stall anywhere and have trouble connecting the dots, just use the corresponding cheat sheets to tighten your translation. Because module 3 is where we begin reading interactions. It's where we're going to start reading the behavior in the market and in real world conditions. So the next phase of this course will land cleanly if this foundation is solid. So go grab the cheat sheets, do the work, put in the reps, and I'll see you in module 3 because module 3 is where we begin to learn how to trade with all of these tools.